Welcome to Dad Mode Engage. What we're working on today is I have a junction box that powers a couple lights and fans inside my shed. Runs off the drill battery. It's pretty cool. I made one for my daughter's playhouse. Got everything wired in there as well. All the components came with two. So most of the stuff I have two of. I figure I might as well make my own junction box for my shed. That way I don't have to rely on extension cords to power this bad chicken. I can just turn lights on to find my tools. Stay tuned. So here's the junction box I built for myself. It's powered by a decommissioned flashlight, but I push the button for the flashlight. Oh, whoops. There we go. Turn the light on. Get my fans rolling. This one's not wired into anything yet. It's actually charging the phone I'm using right now to shoot the video. We open this up here. This is the decommissioned flashlight. This right here is running to this on-off switch. Let's run into the terminal block, and the terminal block runs into this is to make sure that the battery doesn't have too much draw on it, and then that runs back into the terminal block, then over to the step down converter, and then the step down converter turns this 18 volt into a 12 volt, and that 12 volt runs up here and powers this fuse panel. This fuse panel has the USB charger and the lights and the fan all wired in, and I haven't wired in the other lights yet. But stay tuned for the video and see how I built everything and put it all together. Okay, we're back at it. What I'm trying to do is this little switch right here. This is actually from the flashlight that I decommissioned. It's a little click on, click off type of switch. So that's what I'm going to use to control the power in and out from the actual battery controller, my little battery adapter itself from the flashlight. So I got to extend this wire, and I got to set this wire up. Use some of these guys to set the wire up. Yes, I do have a perfectly fine one of these here, but this one's spoken for. This is going to be hooked up into, my daughter has a little electric motorcycle. I'm going to run that off of the 18 volt versus the little 12 volt. So that one's spoken for. So I had to use the flashlight for this one. Didn't have to, I chose to. Too hot. It's too hot when you're trying to put these sleeves on. Yeah, they just melt. Not melt, but they start to do what they're supposed to do. Boom. Now we got power in. Then I turn it off. And this way, this system right here, in my experience with the other junction box that I built, this whole loop right here just draws power constantly. But what we got going on here is your power from the battery comes into here, your positive, your negative, into this little, forget what these are called, but it's a little bar to wire everything in, kind of hold it down real pretty like. And then I have that running into my charge controller, which is just to make sure, not charge, but our voltage controller. There we go, our voltage controller. And this only allows the battery to go so low before it won't take any more power out of the battery. And then that jumps into here, which that converts the power from the 18 volts that are coming in here, which it looks like there's actually 19.5.4 jumping back and forth coming in there. And this will convert that to a 12 volt and then fuel my panel right here. And then I'll run some 15, 20 amp and 30 amp fuses in there to run all my other stuff. Right now, I know that this little setup works, and this is all from the flashlight, which is kind of fun. I like it. Good job. And then what will happen is I'll plug in all my stuff like my lights and my fans or whatever else I'm running and put it on there. I got a few of these to wire in, little USB chargers and USB-C chargers that I bought off of Amazon. I'm gonna wire one into each box, and that'll be really cool to be able to just charge my phone off the Ryobi battery. And it's got a little built-in thing to make sure that it doesn't overcharge your phone as well. So cool beanos. Stay tuned to the next video. All right, we're back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hook this up so we can run it whenever we get it hooked up. But we're working on wiring in my USB-C charger into the battery, not the battery, but the power source here. So I got 2 wires I already got pre-made. All right, I couldn't get the last one to work for some reason when I was trying to make it charge the phone. This is the same one. I put a bigger fuse in there. I switched it out from this 20 amp to a 30 amp. And then I got a different cable too as well. So we're gonna push our button, boom, power on. Take this guy here, it's fully connected there. Beep, 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 beep. Take this, boom. See that? She's charging. It says weird accessory plugged in, but she's charging. All right, charges there. Also, we have a pair of AirPods, and bam, she charging too. I don't know if you can see the little blinky light. The blinky light. See, she's charging. Success. All right, our next move is to reassemble this all in the box. And then we cut a couple of holes in this box, throw a USB charger in there. I got a couple of screws from one of these kits that I bought off of Amazon, just a bunch of random screws. And drill it in there with the Ryobi. Now I'm gonna put in the actual off-on switch. I tried to use rubber grommet, but it didn't push the pin and the on-off switch in there all the way. So I'm gonna use a couple of zip ties, tighten it down, put my pins going the appropriate way so the door can open and close and the wires don't get too messed up. I'm gonna put the box in there, get her all mounted up, finger tight these bolts. I'll power tighten them down later. Gonna make sure it's buttoned down, held into place so there isn't a whole lot of movement inside the box. Hook everything up. Seems to be working. All right, connecting up the USB charger. Lots of moving around really quick. All right, I got the box screwed into the wall. We're gonna work on is throwing 3 switches in here to control lights, fans, and other lights. Probably gonna get 4 switches. We're gonna start with 3. So there's the inside of the box. No battery in it right now. Just gonna start wiring stuff up, but boom, it works. It is charging the cell phone. So, right on. We drilled 3 holes with a paddle bit. I'm just gonna feed in these switches, and then these switches are gonna be hardwired into the fuse panel and the accessories that they power, like the lights and the fan. Just a whole lot of putting sleeves on stuff, getting the wires together, heating it up, heat and treat right there. Buttoning up all the good stuff, making sure everything's working with its switch on and off. Lots of moving around, finding stuff. This isn't a perfect process. I have a messy shed. Just making sure I put those little forks on there. Just gonna wire them in. Put my light on. Light's working. There she go. Light's wired in. All right. You see that fan behind me? All those wires up top, they drop down in the box. Now we're gonna wire that fan in. Part of me wishes I would have fished in a little bit more wire. That way I would have had a little bit more room to work when I was splicing in all this. Mainly on the last video, this one not so much. This one was actually pretty simple. Ooh, ought to cut it. Take all the sleeving off. Put some more rubber on it. Twist the wires together. Heat the little sleeve so it shrinks around the wire so it doesn't move anywhere. Good to go. It's a process. It takes a little bit. I'm getting faster at it. I just need to get my stuff more accessible and closer to me at all times. This is my ghetto box. Final product. I was going to show everybody how I wired everything in, and I watched back all my videos, and it's kind of boring watching me wire stuff in. But there's a fan. There's another fan. And then there's a light up there. We'll go over here. Open the box up. Go. Got our switch panel. Got a charger for phones. Battery plugs in here. And the old Ryobi charger. Let me try to explain the components in this thing real quick. Alright, here's our components. So there's our power in. Our power in comes over here to this little, oh, I forget what it's called, the little electrical adapter there. And then it jumps over here into this controller that controls your battery's drain. Make sure that it won't drain too much. I got it shooting out here. It comes to this controller. Well, back into these pins over here. Yeah, I forget what it's called. I need to figure out what it's called. And it rolls down into the step-down converter. And the step-down converter takes the 18-volt from here to the step-down converter all the way up. Power's in here, negative's in there. Positive here, negative there. And then I have all these wired up to my fans and my switches. So let's go ahead and plug this battery back in now that it's not in the way. Shut this, line my pin up so the door shuts. And then power on. So my USB's there. Lights. Fans. So turn it off. Fan. Both fans are working. All right. I like it.